On Thursday, we got reports that the Suns could have a surprising suitor for Kevin Durant. John Gambadoro on Arizona Sports 98.7's Burns and Gambo, Suns insider. Gambo is always on top of things with the Suns. Gambo said that the Clippers are an under-the-radar team for Kevin Durant. And so I was thinking about this from the Suns' perspective. Maybe the Clippers could put together the most appealing trade for Kevin Durant. And I played with the trade machine and I came up with a deal, Tom, I want to get your feedback too. Clippers would get Kevin Durant for Norm Powell, Bogdan Bogdanovic, 2 salaries, Drew Eubanks, Kobe Brown, and the number 30 pick. If that's the type of deal the Clippers could put together for the Phoenix Suns, do you think that's an acceptable deal for the Suns, or should they be expecting more somewhere out there in return for KD, who's in his late 30s, has only 1 year remaining on his deal, is not quite in his prime anymore?
If you trade Kevin Durant for Norm Powell, I'm sorry. Like that's not the return I'm looking for.
The number 30 pick. And the number 30 pick, Tom.
Kev, you know this draft as well as anybody. Is the number 30 pick with all the NIL deals we're seeing right now to bring back end of first round talent? Is that really a 30 pick or is that like a 45 pick?
No, I think it's like a 30 pick. I do feel that way. I think a lot of the guys that went back were, after 30, if that makes any sense. But what do you expect for KD is my underlying point here. Are you really going to get a lot for him at his age with his injury history, with 1 year remaining on his contract? Is a 6-man of the year quality guy in Norm Powell, another quality rotation guy, Bogdanovic, and a first round pick possibly the best that's out there for the Suns? Or in this case, the Clippers can deal their 2031 first as well. If they had to give more, they do have that as an option. They could add second round picks as well. There's other ways you can go about this. You could give Derrick Jones Jr. instead of Drew Eubanks and Kobe Brown. There's different configurations for the Clippers, but do you see this as a viable path, or are you just thinking, no, there's nothing the Clippers can put out there that would make sense for them to go get Kevin Durant? KD goes somewhere else.
Yeah, I would imagine he goes somewhere else if that's the offer that the Clippers are going to put in. But again, if the Clippers are a dark horse suitor for Kevin Durant, you're not going to put in Zubats into the deal. You're not going to put Kawhi Leonard into the deal. So like, it's going to have to be something like this. And I don't see Mat Ishbia and Brian Gregory signing off on something like this. I'd imagine they could get something more from, say, Minnesota. But then again, if Minnesota's like, hey, we can offer you Nickeil Alexander, well, they can't, unless it's some sort of sign and trade. But like Julius Randle, I don't know if that gets you anywhere. Julius Randle being an expiring deal, is that something you want? Or Norm Powell being an expiring deal at $20 million next season? Maybe that's something you can, hang your hat on and say, look, we got a good player. He's a veteran player, 31 years old on the back half of his career, but we got a first round pick for Kevin Durant. Can you get more from somewhere else? I'd imagine you could. I'd be surprised if that is the best deal you could get for Kevin Durant, even though, he is at this age where I don't know if you can guarantee that Kevin Durant is going to be healthy for a full postseason run. The Clippers are not built for the 16 wins that you need to win an NBA championship. Does Kevin Durant help you there? We saw what happened with James Harden and Kyrie Irving a few years ago. I don't think it's any more likely that you win a championship than that team a couple years ago, and they broke down as well.
KD's going to be 37 next year. And with him, I could see, the Knicks, Shams Charania reported how they made an offer for KD at the deadline this year. Minnesota, as you said, also made an offer. Anthony Edwards and KD have a very close relationship. The Rockets perhaps could have interest in Kevin Durant as well. And if they wanted to put a stronger offer out there, they definitely could do that. And there could always be surprising teams as well. I don't think you can rule out a team coming out of nowhere and saying, you know what, screw it. We'll go get KD for 1 year and try to win a hell of a lot of games, put with an offer that puts them over the top of anybody else. So I think there's other teams that could offer more for Kevin Durant, but I am intrigued by the Clippers as kind of a team, because if they did put their 2031 first up on the table for him, unprotected, if they were willing to do that, that would be a high value asset considering how old that team is. That would be a valuable choice for them. So for the Suns, they're dealing with the KD stuff. They just hired their head coach, Jordan Ott, who is a Cavaliers assistant head coach. The Phoenix Suns have hired him as their new head coach. No surprise here. Jordan Ott went to Michigan State.
The Phoenix Spartans. This is Phoenix.
It's happening.
I've never seen anything like this, man. We talked about it on the Big Number this week with Dan Devine. We in Charlotte, we had Michael Jordan hiring Buzz Peterson, his college roommate at Chapel Hill, and then Mitch Kupchak, also Chapel Hill. But it's not like they hired George Karl. It's not like they hired Hubert Davis to run the team. This is all three levels. The owner, the GM, and the head coach all went to Michigan State and all played under or coached under Tom Izzo. Like, man, when they released the names of the candidates, I was like, who are we kidding here? Jordan Ott's going to get the job. He went to Michigan State, game over. And, this guy, Brian Gregory, he's a college coach. He's been a former head coach at college. But like, to hire this guy as your top executive, I mean, it is one way to do it. And his press conference was, all he talked about was alignment, on the same page. We're aligned, all aligned. In other words, Mat Ishbia, take the reins, take the steering wheel. It's your organization. Go run the team how you want it. And he made an email to he wrote an email, a memo to his organization. And he was basically like, I did things by the book. I did things the traditional, the conventional way as an owner. And I hired experts, and now it's time for me to step in and throw my influence around here a little bit more. I'm not happy with the results. When has that ever worked, Kev? When has the owner coming in and meddling in all those decisions, when has that ever worked in the NBA?
Well, let me read you exactly what he said, Tom, because I just think it's fascinating. It's just so fascinating. He said, let me start with the most important point. The Phoenix Suns will do things very differently than most other NBA franchises. I will be extremely active in the decisions and management of this organization on and off the floor. While I won't be reviewing film, designing offenses, or running the draft room, I will be deeply involved in ensuring the basketball organizations, like every other area of our organization, is performing at the highest level. I'm aware that this approach is different than most other organizations. I'm not the conventional NBA owner, and I don't want to be. And that's where he got into what you were saying. I've tried the conventional playbook, this and that. Dude, you weren't hands-on before? Like, pushing for the KD deal, saying, okay, we'll give it all. We'll give all the picks. We'll give Bridges. We'll give everything. You weren't hands-on before? What does that mean with what we're about to see? What does it mean?
Devin Booker, blink twice if you need to be rescued. Okay. Like, if you're Devin Booker watching this organization be run by this alma mater of Michigan State, I want out. If I'm Devin Booker and hearing these quotes from my owners saying, like, I need to be more. What does Mat Ishbia know what it's like to run an NBA team as a head coach or as a GM? He's saying he's not going to be making the decisions in the draft room or not making the decisions in X's and O's. But you hire two people who you're boys with from Michigan State to run your team. It seems like you are going to be at the helm. And if I'm Devin Booker, I want out. That does not seem like a professional organization. And given the fact that, he's saying, I'm going to do things differently. Different isn't always good. That is not always a good thing, to run things completely antithetical to how, like, look at Sam Presti and how he's run that organization in OKC. Look at how Kevin Pritchard over in Indiana. Like, it's not like they're just hiring cronies left and right to make sure that they're run in the same way. It is I don't think any NBA fan could even name who the owners, if they had the picture up, who the owners of OKC or Indiana are. Like, I just don't think that he's doing this the right way. And I'd be afraid that you're going to scare away the guy, the only star there that has been there since day one, Devin Booker, by the way he's running this.
I'll tell you what, Tom, I'm a little surprised that stuff isn't more out there with Book. He's 28 years old right now. He turns 29 in October during the early part of the season. Still in the prime of his career, but about to turn 30. Hasn't won a championship yet. A ton of teams that are contenders would want Devin Booker if he decided to ask out. A ton of teams would want Devin Booker. And so I'm a little bit surprised that there just hasn't been more, scuttlebutt about that or more real noise, whatever it is. I'm just surprised we haven't gotten there yet when we're already talking about a team, Kevin Durant being traded, possibly this summer. In all likelihood, KD gets traded. We're talking about the Suns figuring out ways to get rid of Bradley Beal, how they don't want him back, talking about waiving him or finding some type of trade partner for him. They don't want Beal back. And then Booker, like you're there alone on the island, Tom Hanks castaway style. It's just like there's nothing there with you. Is it really that important to be a lifer there? Maybe it is. Maybe it is that important to him that he wants to be a lifer in Phoenix. Maybe he loves living life in Arizona, and that's where he wants to be. That's very possible. And all respect to him if that's what he wants in his life. But so many players, especially everything I know about Book, that drive to win a championship, I don't see the path for Phoenix right now, man. I just don't see the path, and that's why I'm surprised, and we just don't see that stuff out there with him.
Is there a Michigan State guy on the Knicks? I'm just trying to figure this out. So we know that Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker want to play together, and I said before the season, like if the Phoenix Suns just spontaneously combust this season, that you could see Leon Rose, who they did. It didn't actually happen, but the time is still there. Like time hasn't completely run out on this theory that the Knicks will try to do everything they can to get a guy like Devin Booker on the team, especially when Karl Towns, also a CAA guy. They want Karl Towns. They want to get him happy and making sure they can build a great offense around him, and they let Tom Thibodeau go. Is there a scenario in which the New York Knicks get on the phone with Brian Gregory and say, how do we get Devin Booker here? If you're already willing to trade Kevin Durant to the Los Angeles Clippers, and let's say Devin Booker figures out a way to make a trade request, a soft one, so it doesn't make him look like the bad guy, maybe you do a deal for Mikal Bridges and bring him home.
There's nothing Book can do that makes him look like the bad guy. I think Suns fans would support Book, in his desire to leave. I think they would say, we get it. We get it. We understand why you want to leave. I don't think there's any world in which Book would end up looking like the bad guy here. The one thing I will say, Tom, is I don't think the Knicks have the assets to go get Book. If Booker did ask out, I just don't see the path for the Knicks. Even if he were to say, I want to go to New York. I want to go to New York. I don't think that the Suns are going to take whatever scraps the Knicks can give from their leftover pile of assets after trading 6 picks for Bridges, after going to get Karl Anthony Towns. I just don't see that. Booker has 3 years remaining on his contract. To me, the team that makes the most sense to go get him is actually the Houston Rockets. Everybody talks about KD for the Rockets, but to me, Booker is the guy that makes total sense for that Rockets roster, for where they are as a team, what they're missing with his playmaking and scoring and shooting ability, his versatility on ball and off ball. Booker would be perfect for Houston to go actually cash in on some of their own assets and give Phoenix back some of their own picks. And I do wonder, though, if the Suns are trading KD and if they're trying to get rid of Beal and if all they really have left is Book and a bunch of young guys, maybe you continue trying to build as a young team, but maybe you just go all the way in on a rebuild, getting back a lot of your picks, especially next year, and what is a loaded draft in 2026 at the top with multiple guys that are of Cooper flag quality. Darren Peterson at Kansas, AJ DeBonta at BYU, Boozer at Duke, among others in that draft class that are number 1 pick quality. Maybe that is a path you were thinking about going if you're the Phoenix Suns. Hey, I mean, look, Shams and Windhorst and all these plugged-in insiders have said how it's going to be an explosive summer. Hey, maybe you expect the unexpected with some of the guys that could become available.
I mean, isn't the writing on the wall here? I mean, I know Phoenix fans will say there's no way Devin Booker is going to ask out of this situation, but
Why not?
The Bradley Beal no trade clause, that was the first wild card for them. And then you switch a coach for 3 straight seasons. First you have Frank Vogel, and then you have Mike Budenholzer, and now you bring in a first-time head coach that went to the same alma mater as your new GM, who's never been a GM before and is a longtime college coach under Tom Izzo. This seems to me like, in any other normal circumstance, you're looking at this as a third party, an independent party, and saying, how is Devin Booker happy with this? This doesn't seem like a serious organization, Kev.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we'll see what they end up doing with Kevin Durant. That's really the first domino here.